This is Goss's Garage with Pat Goss, co-host of PBS's Motor Week. He'll take your calls and comments now at 844-885-4677 or email him at radio@goss-garage.com. And now, Pat Goss.
Folks, from Thanksgiving to New Year's is one of our nation's deadliest and most dangerous times to drive. Now, every year, hundreds of people are killed and thousands are injured in car crashes during the holidays. So, if you're planning on partying, use common sense. Even if it's the party of a lifetime, the party that will be so great, well, it's to die for. Remember, no party, no celebration, no night of fun is worth dying for. Yet too many of you will during the next few days. If you plan on having even a single drink, designate a driver who will stay sober or plan for a taxi ride home. But it isn't just drinking that causes problems this time of year. Holidays bring stress, and stress can translate to aggressive driving. Don't be an aggressive driver. Don't drive if you're in a bad mood. And if someone near you is driving aggressively, let them do as they please. Pull over. Stay out of their way. Never challenge an aggressive driver. Don't flip them off and never make eye contact with them. Even the holiday season doesn't make a crazy driver less crazy. But you don't drink and drive, and you shouldn't drive distracted either. Put the phone down and watch out for other distracted drivers. Lots of folks will have way too much on their mind to really concentrate on their driving. So even if there was a time, if ever there was a time to drive defensively, this is it. Please be ultra careful, everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. All right, today we are joined by Mr. Chris Basso from Carfax. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks as always for having me, Pat. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Now, that intro.
Yeah.
You know, you think about all the people getting hurt and so on during the holidays, all year long for that matter, and you have to wonder how many of those accidents are caused by cars that may have been totaled or something and put back together wrong and so on.
No, you're absolutely right. And first off, let me tell you what a great thing you're doing, reminding people of being defensive when they're driving, especially these holidays. We want to get to our family safe, and we want to get everywhere safe and sound. So with all these people on the road, everything you can do to get from point A to point B safely is the best thing for you.
Yeah. I have a rule here.
What's that?
You want to be ahead of me? Go for it. I'll just get out of your way. Have at it.
Exactly. You'll get there safe.
Right.
We'll see what happens with the other person. But with that being said, there definitely are lots of cars on the road that have been in major accidents, underwater in a flood, in a fire, that are now back on the road because somebody erased that damage history from the car's title. Our data suggests that there are over 750,000 vehicles that people are driving every day that have been majorly wrecked, that are now back on the road, and many of those people driving those cars may not know about it because criminals have erased the damage from the car's title.
Wow. 750,000.
750,000. It's a huge number.
That's more than two.
One more than two, I think.
Yeah.
My math is a little fuzzy. But yeah, it's a serious issue. You know, people are driving these cars thinking they're safe and sound when, in fact, they've been in major accidents, they've been in floods. We all know what can happen when a car is in a flood. The electrical, the mechanical, and the safety systems all get compromised. They've even, been on fire. Somebody's fixed them up, and they've manipulated the car's title, the paperwork, so that they can get a clear title from another state's Department of Motor Vehicles and sell that car to you as a cherry vehicle. But in reality, that car has been compromised, majorly wrecked, and could be a ticking time bomb for you and your family.
Now, if the title has been cleaned up, and what we're talking about here is that I don't think all states, but most states, if a car is totaled, considered a total loss, it's branded right on the face of the title, says that this is a salvage vehicle or something similar to that.
Right. Each state has its own threshold for when they require a branded title to be issued. It could be 100% of the car's value. That's been wrecked. It could be 75% of the car's value. It's the cost to fix that car versus its value. So each state is different and when they title those vehicles. But the important notation here is that the damage is so bad that the DMV requires disclosure of that damage on the car's title so that anybody buying that car going forward knows that it was salvaged, knows that it was on fire, knows that it was in a flood. And criminals are skirting that issue by removing that information from the car's title, moving the car to another state, and then they're reselling that car to people that have no idea that it was ever damaged. It's a process called title washing, but the most important thing to know here is that there's 750,000 potentially dangerous cars that are back on the road that people have purchased and are driving because they don't know about that previous damage.
Okay, now some of the things that could happen. Airbags don't work.
Right?
ABS doesn't work.
Yep.
All of the various anti-skid devices and so on may be inoperative on them.
Exactly.
And one thing that we see here in the repair shop is that all modern cars have a crush zone, which is designed so that in an accident, this metal compresses. It's like an accordion. It compresses and absorbs energy to keep the energy from going into the inside of the car.
Keeps the passenger safe.
Yeah. And we've seen them in here where somebody has cobbled up a repair and either they heated that metal, which is a no-no on most of this high-strength steel and stuff like that, or we've actually seen them where they took another piece of metal and plated it over the side of that, which could be deadly.
Absolutely. You know, the car's frame, or most common now, the unibody, is really the one thing that protects the structure and the integrity of that vehicle and allows that car to crumple when it's in an accident and protect the people that are inside of it. When those things are compromised, you've got a major disaster on your hands. The frame gives because it's not meeting the manufacturer specifications, and those crumple zones don't work anymore because that car crumples up like an accordion rather than stopping where it should in the crumple zone. So the car is either going to crumple up like an accordion, or what we've also seen is we call them Franken cars, and I'm sure you've heard of that too. Two cars welded together, that car will literally split in half if it's hit hard enough and at the right angle. So either scenario is, you know, a potential disaster for anybody that's in those cars, and especially around the holidays. You know, we never want to see that happen.
Well, the thing we see, some of them where they do away with the crumple zones. They make it too strong so that it doesn't crumple anymore. And there's what's called a torque box that is typically someplace under the driver's left foot or the passenger's right foot. And when you take that crumple zone out of there and make the frame really stiff, what happens is that torque box comes right up into the passenger compartment, and you got yourself a mess.
You sure do. And you can avoid all that. And that's why Carfax is there. That's why you or your mechanic are there to help you. We want to help you avoid unknowingly buying one of these cars. So no matter what somebody does to the actual paper title, if they manipulate it, they remove that salvage or flood or junk title that's supposed to be on there, letting you know that there was major damage with that vehicle. Once the Department of Motor Vehicles reports that information to Carfax, and all 50 state Department of Motor Vehicles do, it stays in our database forever. So when you get a Carfax report, if you're buying that car, if you're selling that car, that information will be on the Carfax report, even if it may not be on the car's paper title itself. And then your mechanic is the next step you want to take, and their trained eye, your trained eye, is going to help identify those Franken cars or those cars where the integrity may have been compromised because it was in a major accident.
Yeah, it's scary to see some of the things that some of these people, in the name of making a couple $1,000s, and that's what all of this is about, is that if you clean up the title, car, depending on what class of car it is, could be worth several or quite a few $1,000s more.
You're absolutely right. It's a profit-driven scam.
Yeah.
You know, we a couple years ago during Hurricane Sandy, we took a Sandy car as a demonstration to show how easily flood cars could be cleaned up. And this particular car that we cleaned up had been sitting around for 9 or 10 months, had water all inside of it, the trunk, you know, on the inside of the vehicle, the seat wells. It was soaked. 9 months later. And we took it to a local shop in Falls Church, Virginia. Within 5 hours, they had that thing completely spotless, totally dried. Cost us a few $100s. So it showed how easily those flooded cars that look like disasters, waterlogged wrecks, could be cleaned up, but also how little of an investment it took to get them cleaned up and make them roadworthy once again.
Yeah, well, kind of roadworthy.
Kind of roadworthy. Looking like they're roadworthy.
Right. I mean, they look great.
Sure.
But the damage to the wire harnesses and all that, that's all still there.
It's all a mess, and we know that. But the common person who's looking at that car, more often than not, is going to buy with their heart and not with their head. So they see a beautiful car that passes their sniff test. It looks great. Everything checks out. But when you get the Carfax report, when you take it to a mechanic, that's when the layers of the onion start to get unpeeled, and you see what actually happened with that car. And it's that example that shows how important it is to really do your homework, take the car for a test drive, get a Carfax report, and then have a mechanic like yourself inspect that vehicle so you know what you're buying and not wasting thousands of dollars, and more important, putting you and your family at risk.
Now, when we get down to the dollars and cents of this, we've seen some Highline cars. We had an S-Class Mercedes a year or so ago that had been totaled. And the difference in the value of that car with a clean title and one that was salvaged was something like $20,000 or $30,000.
Wow. Huge.
Yeah.
In most cases, those wrecked cars that may have been cleaned up are probably worth about half of what you may pay for it. So knowing that a car is probably our second biggest investment that we're ever going to make in our lifetimes, losing half your money on a wrecked car that's not only dangerous but is worth a lot less. It's a big deal to a lot of people, and that's why Carfax and Goss's Garage and other mechanics are out there to help protect you.
So Carfax.com to get a vehicle history report.
Exactly right.
And you need the VIN number and
you need the VIN or the license plate. So if you're buying from a private seller, you can actually use the license plate if it's still on the vehicle. Make it just as easy.
And that would tell you something else. If with a lot of these curbstoners, they swap tags, the license plates from one car to another, and if you're looking at a Honda and the tag belongs to a Nissan, something's wrong right off the bat.
Right. Exactly right. And a quick check to do that is for free, actually, using My Carfax. You can download the app to your phone, and at mycarfax.com or at the Google Play or Apple stores, you can download it, and it'll tell you. You plug in the license plate, and it's going to tell you the year, make, model of that car. And if it doesn't match up, then that's a question you need to ask the seller right away.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Exactly.
All right, we need to take a break. We'll be right back. More with Chris Basso from Carfax coming up here on Goss's Garage.
Goss. Call the show now at 844-885-4677. That's 844-885-GOSS. And now, Pat Goss.
Today we are talking to Chris Basso, who is Public Relations Manager at Carfax, and talking about the things that you need to do in buying a used car. And one of the things was the ability to search on your site for used cars.
Right. It's important to know what you're buying in a used car, but it's also just as important to know who you're buying from. And too often we see people shopping for the lowest price car, and a lot of them go on sites like Craigslist to do it. They may save themselves some money up front by shopping through those, but you also have little to no recourse should something go wrong with that car. And that's one of the many reasons that we created a shopping location, destination for people on Carfax.com. Rather than, waste time spending hours and hours searching for the right car online and then getting the Carfax report at the very end of your process and finding out that's definitely not the car I want, doesn't have the right history, and having to go all the way back again. Carfax has created a place where you can shop up front by the vehicle's history. Check the year, make, model that you want, and then check off the boxes of the car's history that you want. One owner, no reported accidents, service information, personal use vehicles, and then get results that exactly match your search criteria. It saves you a lot of time up front knowing that the car is going to have the history that you want, and then also locating that vehicle at a Carfax Advantage dealer, a dealer that uses Carfax throughout their entire used car process. They buy cars using Carfax information. They sell cars using Carfax information. They're going to give you a free Carfax report with every single vehicle that's listed on our website. So you can shop with confidence and know that you're going to get a safe, reliable car from a company that has a reputation and a commitment to the community.
All right. Now, also, once you select a particular car, you can read the Carfax report right then and there.
Right there, online. You don't have to go anywhere. That information is available for you right at your fingertips using our app, going on to our website. And that's an important piece. You know what you're getting. You see what's been reported to Carfax immediately, so you can take that information and walk it onto the lot as an educated consumer and know exactly what you want and save yourself some more time there, not having to walk around the lot. You can go in and say, this is the car that I'm interested in, and then drive off sooner than later.
All right, now, another feature that has always impressed me is certainly there are going to be some things that fall through the net, and you have a warranty.
We have a buyback guarantee, exactly. So at the top of the show, we talked about title washing, and that information that's reported from Department of Motor Vehicles, salvage vehicles, junk, flood damage, fire, all that stuff that's supposed to be put on the car's title, that information is reported to us from all 50 state Department of Motor Vehicles. And we back that information with our buyback guarantee. So if you buy a car with a Carfax report that doesn't have that information on it and find out after the fact that it should have had a branded title on the Carfax report, a salvage or junk, then we'll buy that car back from you. That's the confidence that we have in the information that's coming to us from over 100,000 sources worldwide, and we want to make sure you're buying a safe, reliable car.
So that's why you've got a 50,000 car parking lot at headquarters. You have a place to put all these buybacks.
We've got a 1 million car parking lot on our website with all those cars that dealers sell, all with free Carfax reports.
Do you ever have to buy one back?
We've had to buy a few back, yep. But we're happy to say, we can pretty much count on both hands how many we've bought back, and we've had the buyback guarantee in place for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
So we put our money where our mouth is, where our information is actually, and proudly back that information up. And if the situation rises, we'll definitely buy that car back. But you can shop with confidence and know going forward with the peace of mind that if the car was issued a salvage title, that information is going to be there on the Carfax report.
One of the things that I like is that I can look at the Carfax report. I can see where the car came from. Is it something from the Rust Belt, or is it something from
Snowy Northeast?
Yeah, and I can factor all of that into up front whether this is some car that I want to discount just because of something like that, or if it doesn't matter to me, and so on. I get a lot of information.
There's over 100,000 sources that report information to us, and like you said, we'll tell you everything from reported accidents to where the vehicle was previously located, how many people have owned that car in the past, all those things that you want to know about when you're buying a used car, so that if you don't want a car that came from the Northeast or came from the upper Midwest where it snows a lot and they use salt on the roads, you'll know that information right there in the Carfax report. And it's an important piece, but it's also one step in the buying process. Your test drive, your mechanic's inspection are also just as important steps that you want to take, and it's that combination of those three to get yourself started that's going to help you buy a safe, reliable used car for you and your family.
Now, one other thing that I get questions about from time to time, when it says commercial vehicle, that doesn't mean that it was used to deliver pizzas. That means that it was a leased car. It
was a commercial lease. Yeah, it was used by a company to do whatever. They may have delivered pizzas. It may have been a rental vehicle at some point. It may have been a police car or a taxi, and all that information is available in there. So while there are great value in some of those vehicles, sometimes people just don't want them. They want a car that's been owned by an individual. So you can find that out. You'll see by type of use if it was a personal vehicle or if it was some other type of vehicle like a taxi or a rental car, and you can make an educated buying decision. Sometimes those rental cars are, they get a bad rap, but they're pretty well taken care of. Those companies do a great job.
Yeah, if you see the stuff that we see here in the shop from individuals who, some people are just horrible in the way they take care of their cars.
I don't think they drive a rental car any worse than they drive their own in most cases. So
Yeah, and you know, they omit services. Oh, can't I go another couple thousand miles on the oil change? Well, sir, yes, you can, but you're already 5,000 over when it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, money's tight, and so and rental car companies don't do that. I mean, money isn't tight, and there is an absolute schedule, so in many cases you'll get a good car that way.
You'll get, in many cases, an even better car
Yeah.
because they regularly maintain those vehicles and they don't skimp on the oil changes or the tire rotations. So no matter where you are in the process, you know, if you're shopping for a car, come to Carfax.com. You can search our millions of vehicles that are listed for sale from Carfax Advantage dealers. You get free Carfax reports for when you're ready to buy. As you own your car, you can use the mycarfax.com service that we offer to help maintain it. And then when you're ready to sell it, again, get a Carfax report, but also use the value that we provide, the history-based value, to make sure that you're listing that vehicle accordingly and getting the value for it that you should.
So it's Carfax.com or mycarfax.com.
Exactly. Carfax.com will send you everywhere you need to be, but if you specifically want to take care of your car, come to mycarfax.com or download the mycarfax.com app.
Any new features? Blech, rented lips. Any new features coming up?
We certainly have ratings and reviews for shops in the mycarfax.com app, so if you want to see what other people have said about the shops that they're taking their cars to, that information is available, and you know, user feedback is a huge thing that we rely on now, so we want to make sure that people know what people are saying about shops like Goss's Garage, and I'm sure they're saying great things.
Not always.
Most times, and we even had a caller.
You can't please everybody all the time. I would never profess to be perfect. Everybody here, myself included, we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Exactly.
It's just how we take care of them that makes the difference.
So you'll get to see each person's individual experience based on their reviews in the My Carfax app, and then something that we're building is coupons, discounted oil changes and things like that available from the shops that participate in My Carfax.
So you're going to be a one-stop shopping center.
We are a one-stop shopping center. Whether you're shopping for a car or own a car or want to sell it, come to Carfax.com and we can take care of you.
Great. Chris, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Always my pleasure. Happy holidays to you, Pat.
And to you. All right. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Steve McMillan and Chris DePamphilis for producing today's show. For everyone here at Goss's Garage, I'm Pat Goss. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody. Until next time, drive gently.